The rear airbags and all sorts of nice goodies has finally arrived. Let's get them installed and see if we can get this thing go up and down. Psh, psh. I can't wait, let's go. Hey, how's it, jokes, and welcome back. If you don't know me, my name is Duff, and I'm busy with the air ride setup on my 1939 Hudson Rat truck build. Yes!
Hey!
Hey, how's it, my darling? Did you bring me a present?
This is delivery.
Whoopee! My parts have arrived! Thank you very much.
Cool. Ah, let me kiss. Okay,
Alright, let's see what's in the box. I can't wait to see, and I'm going to use my special pipe cutting knife. Some of you guys might know it. Certainly well packaged. Let's see. Aha! Airbags for the back. Been waiting for a while, and they even come with their fittings. Ah, that's great. There's one. There's the other one. What else? Ah, nice sticker from Grem Air, the guys who supplied me, and they've been advising me so well. Thanks, Jochie. What else? And a relay. And a pressure switch. And ta-da! One of the few shiny things that's going to be fitted to this truck. My air compressor. Fantastic. Now we can get that back air suspension together. So the first thing I'm going to do is to tack this bottom airbag mounting bracket in place, and I'm going to use my angle finder to set them up so that they are parallel to the frame. Okay, so now my airbag can fit here. It will take just a little bit of a struggle to get those bolts in place, but we'll get it done. What is going on in my shop? How am I supposed to do any work? It's ridiculous. What the hell? Hey brother. You like it? So next I can get this upper bracket into place, and I'll just bolt that on as well. I also made this one earlier in a previous video when I was putting off cleaning up this very rusty diff. Same thing here on this side. Get these bolts in place as well. So now I'm just going to jack up the back axle until the brackets, or not the brackets, the airbag sits up against the frame here, and then the bracket will also locate. Let's see how it works. So the top of the airbag sits partly under the frame here, and on this side my bracket will give additional support, so I would need to weld this to the frame. But I don't want to weld this bracket with the airbag in place. That's going to be a problem. So I've made a mark here so I can know its location, so that I can take the airbag out again, clamp this into place, weld it up, and then we'll be good. My bracket needs to line up with the bottom edge of the frame here, so I've clamped on these two offcuts of angle bar to provide a landing. Now I can stick in my bracket like this. I'm going to clamp it on here as well, and then I can tack it. Got it lined up on the mark, and then it will be all as it should be. It's raining again. So much rain this year, it's unbelievable. So I got my bracket welded. I still got to do the bottom weld. But yeah, there's lots of underneath welds I still have to do down the line. But once I take the frame apart, I can turn it upside down and take care of those. So with this done, let's stick the bag in and we can see what happens next. Okay, let's jack it up. Just got to be careful that I make sure my footing goes through the hole here. Just the one here on the other side. Alright, there we go. Let me just get the bolts in place. Okay, now, so if everything goes according to plan, when I jack this back axle up, the bag should compress. And they are doing that very nicely. And if I drop it down, they will extend. Fantastic, it looks like it's going to work. So I need some wheels to test it properly, but I haven't got them yet. I'm hoping they will arrive within the next day or two. So what I'm going to do here in the meantime, because I'm really keen to give this a try, I've got my back axle on some jack stands, and then I've just temporarily clamped on my manual air controller and plumbed it all up. I've got the shop air going into the manifold here. Oh, by the way, if you're not familiar with this contraption, I did build it in a video a while ago. I'll put a link up here on the screen. My air controller will eventually live inside the cab. So all my pipes and fittings is in place. Let's give it a try. Airing up. Now I can't see my air pressure in the bags, but yes, eventually those pressure gauges will be living on the dashboard. Let's slam it. And up. Lekker, man. Here's a small little detail you might find interesting. So I didn't want my airline to make a loop here because I still need to mount my shocks here. So to make a nice route for it, I welded in this little bit of pipe in the flange. I'll stick some rubber sleeving in there, and now my airline is lining up very nicely. Hey, my new wheels have finally arrived. But before I show you what they look like, let's quickly talk about dreams versus reality. So I had my heart set on some classic American racing style wheels. And then I saw what they would cost me out here once shipping costs and import duties were added. Well, I've got a limited budget, so I had to can that idea. So I shopped around locally. And eventually I found these at something around about a quarter of the price. Fits my budget. Yes, I decided to go for some shiny wheels on this build, just for a change. So I've got 17-inch rims here. This is for the back. There's a 265, 65, 17 tire fitted to it. So we'll stick these on and see what they look like. If I don't like them, I can always go to Steely's or something else. And then for the front, I've got a 15-inch rim, 205, 65, 15 tire. So yeah, it was quite difficult to find rims with the same design in different rim sizes. So my choices were very limited. But this is what we've got. So some videos back, when I had the fenders on here, I checked out clearance based on this original wheel. So my new wheel is roughly the same diameter, if not exactly the same, just a little bit wider. So hopefully we'll be good. We'll have to just wait and see. My front and rear PCDs are not the same though. Up here I've got the original stock Isuzu PCD, which is 6x139. And my Holden HQ back axle has got a PCD of 5/120. And these rims are 6x139 PCD as well. So the front one will fit, but not the back one, because in the back I've got the PCD of 5/120. Now it was difficult enough to find two rims of the same style with different diameters. But to try and find them with different PCDs and still keeping everything else in place was impossible. So I needed an adapter to change from 5/120 here to 6/139 to fit my new wheels. So we came up with this adapter. It's a two-piece adapter because those PCDs are too close to each other to do it as a single unit. We made some drawings to figure out the whole thing. And then my mate Andre at Pro Engineering machined it for me. So we wanted to use aluminum, or aluminium as we say in South Africa. But we couldn't find any material, so we ended up using mild steel. So yes, you can say it's going to add quite a bit of weight on an unsprung side of things. But then the rims I've got is aluminum or aluminium as well, so that'll make up for it. So here on this side you can see my PCD of 5/120. So the studs on the back axle will come through there with nuts to hold that in place. Here's the 6/139 studs, and then this will fit on there and be held in place with these countersunks. So if our planning and drawings and measurements were good and Andre's machining was on par, this should slip right on here. Let's see. How about that? Step one. Well done, Andre. Let me get these nuts on here. There we go. So these threads are U and F, and the threads on the Isuzu side of things are metric. But yeah, it's all working out. So this is just a test run. I'm not going to worry too much about getting it too tight. I might actually paint this as well before a final fitment, just to keep old Andre happy. When I said to him, he asked me how I was going to finish it, and I told him I'll just let it rust, and he was really crying. So maybe I'll paint it just for him. Okay, now let's fit the outer one, see if that fits. Alright, let's see, now this one goes on here. I can get it, there we go. So I only have this little Allen key. So unfortunately I don't have a socket to fit this. So we'll have to do this on the old and slow fashioned way. Yes, it's all lining up. So far so good. Liking it. So the final test of Andre's machining skills will be to see if the rim fits. If the old man can just get it lined up and in place. Let's see, up a little bit. There we go. It fits. Well done, Andre. Let's get some nuts on here. Well then, let's get rid of this rusty old front wheel as well, so we can see what the shiny new one looks like. I see I've got some broken studs here, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I mean, I still have to rebuild this whole front suspension, replace rubbers, I might even fit new discs. But let's just stick this thing on here. So we can have a look, see? Hoppa! Okay, both front wheels are on. Back onto her feet she goes. Well, I still got to paint the frame and stuff like that, but this looks a whole lot better. Let's connect up some airlines so we can play a little bit. So I've got everything connected up here temporarily, so we can just give this thing a test drive. This air controller, the manual one that I built in the previous video, is going to be living inside the cab down the line. I've got some airlines going to the two front bags. Same for the two back airbags. And then down here, if you look carefully, this orange line going in here, that's air supply from my shop compressor to this manifold here. The frame has been resting on these wooden blocks for quite some time now, ever since I cut the back end off the chassis and rebuilt the frame here and added all of this. So with a little bit of luck, if I air up now, we should lift off the blocks. I can pull them out, and then we can slam the truck for the first time and get this frame to lie on the ground. Let's see, if I pull on these two levers, I should raise the back. Great stuff, so I can take this block out. Same on this side. Lekker man, off the wooden blocks for the first time. And we're sitting on the back wheels for the first time. I mean, if you're new here, lekker is a South African slang word for cool or awesome. So now, if I pull this lever, I will deflate the bags and we should be able to slam the truck and drop it on the ground. Let's see. No, that's up. Drop down. Fully slammed. I love it. Let's go up. And down one more time. sweet, man. I'm happy. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen up front. If you've been watching previous videos, you will remember that I put the airbags onto the torsion bars. So the airbags push the torsion bars and that rotates, and then it should lift up the front. Now since I tested it back then, I've added the weight of the engine and the transmission. So that's going to make quite a bit difference. So the bags will have to take up the preload of the torsion bars, if I can put it like that. I kind of guessed, and I moved it one spline to make up for that difference. So there's only one thing we can do now. Let's give it some air and see what happens. So I'm going to pull my lever, get some air in there, and you can see the bag is moving quite a bit. And nothing's happening up front yet. That's the preload on the torsion bar. And we're starting to lift. So at the moment I've got 3 bar in those airbags that operate the front. That's roughly 45 psi, a little bit less. I still have to add the weight of the cab and the bodywork and all of that, I know. But as it sits now, we've got more than adequate ground clearance up here. That doesn't feel too bad. Still got these bloody squeaks on these wishbone rubbers. But like I said previously, I still have to rebuild this whole front suspension, so all of those rubbers will be replaced and sorted out. But so far so good. Down she goes. And up she goes. So that's the truck fully slammed. Let's air out the back end. And the front. That's pretty much right on. Slam the front. I'm gonna get used to my levers. That's the back. Awesome, man. I'm happy chappy. Hoo, hoo, hoo. We're making good progress now. And here's another first. We've got a roller for the first time. Whoopee! A good day, man. A day of many firsts. I'm gonna go and celebrate.
Whatever makes you happy, it just depends on you.
And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks very much for hanging out with me out here in the shop. I enjoyed it. Have a lekker one.